Hey guys, so this will be my initial thoughts for both episode 5 and 6 of X-Men 97 season 2. So the 6th episode premiered today, so I think I'm going to start out the video by focusing on that episode, and then I'm going to swing back to the 5th episode at the end. Okay, so in this episode, Charles Xavier is apparently dealing with his PTSD. Apparently, he's got some of that Tony Stark technology he used in Civil War and Far From Home to relive his traumatic memories like Mysterio used. This is primarily a Polaris-focused episode, though, which I liked because I don't really know Polaris that well in the X-Men comic books. I'm actually an avid comic book reader, and X-Men is one of my favorite teams, but I have read surprisingly little about the X-Men, so it's always a breath of fresh air when they introduce a character I'm not used to. Yeah, they really go in deep about how she's Magneto's daughter, and how she has the same abilities as him, and how she's having a bit of an identity crisis. And all through that episode, meanwhile, a new threat comes alive. Literally, the Danger Room comes alive. I always wondered if they were going to delve into some of the 2000s X-Men comics, and it seems like they have with Danger. I actually have this X-Men comic book story. It's actually one of the few I own. It's very good. Josh Whedon wrote it. It's too bad there's so much controversy over him because he's actually a really talented writer. Just so you know, if you're interested in comics, highly recommend this one. It's great. So Danger is the main threat. This is kind of like another one-off episode, just like the Wolverine episode last week was. Charles goes back to Genosha with some of the other X-Men. They start to rebuild. Danger is created at the X-Mansion. She fucks a bunch of people up, and then she goes after Charles in Genosha. And from there, Polaris chases after Danger, and an inevitable battle pursues. And if you ever wondered, they've done the things these last 2 episodes that I never thought they would do. They basically, like, James Bond Charles Xavier. So if you ever wanted to see a crippled man in a wheelchair doing a bunch of cool James Bond shit, now's your chance. They literally give him wheelchair cannons. They give him an ejector seat. He just, like, things you would never imagine a crippled person does. But, that's why we love this show. It does seem like the next episode does go more into back to the Apocalypse storyline, which I'm very happy about. One negative I gotta say about the episode is they bring leather costumes back into it, which is something I really thought they would stay away from. Apparently, I was wrong about that. I know they're not going to keep the leather costumes for too long, but they literally made a joke in the first seasons about how they weren't doing leather costumes, and in this season they bring leather costumes into it. I mean, it's like, come on. I think everyone's just sick of X-Men in leather suits. It just doesn't work. The OG suits work so much better. Actually, I really can't wait for them to tackle these costumes, because these are some of my favorite costumes they've ever made in the X-Men universe. But they have a big reveal at the end. I'm not going to spoil it, but it's something that they brought back from the first season. I think some people are going to be upset about it. I mean, I think if you watch the end credits to season 1, I think you kind of know what it is. So I personally wasn't upset about it, but I was talking to my friend about it this morning, and he was upset. So, it's just a personal preference thing. I was expecting it, so it's just like, whatever. Okay, so that's my review of episode 6. Now, this is my review of episode 5. That was my review for episode 5, and they go back to the Weapon X facility with Wolverine. It's a Wolverine-centered episode, and I really gotta admit, I didn't expect them to go Aliens 2 with Wolverine, but they did. Now, I personally would have preferred it more of a paint-by-the-numbers, kind of like Wolverine going to the X-Men facility, fighting all his arch-enemies type of episode, but I understood why they took it in a different direction. They introduced the Brood, which is basically the xenomorphs of the X-Men universe. It was fun. It was entertaining. There's one really entertaining part of the episode where they grab a DVD, put it in, and it re-shows everything that Logan and his arch enemies went through the whole Weapon X program. And, that was fun. What was hilarious about it is they had all this diabolical background music playing through the entire thing. It's just like, oh, we know they're evil. And that episode was cool. It was fun, but I am really looking forward for them to get back to the main storyline. I think that's what we all wanted. Like, these one-off episodes are fun, but, that's not really what we come for in the end. These last 2 episodes have been fun, but I'm really looking forward to next week for them to go back. I think it's going to be super enjoyable from there. So how did you guys feel about this week's and last week's episode? Did you like it? Did you love it? Was it kind of meh for you? Let me know. Make a comment. Subscribe, all that good stuff. All right, you guys have a good day now. Bye.